hope you guys, oh, that's a little bit off, isn't it? Hang on. Don't you guys love my little adjustments? Let's do no filter. How about no filter tonight? We'll do no filter. Hey, you guys. Gosh, I'm like so gross. I had a yoga gym day today, chiropractic adjustment. Got a massage therapist who is on his way over, so that's going to be fun. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to show up for them how I am with smelly armpits and yoga hair, and we'll just go from there. Let's see, what do these nice little filters look like? Let's try that one. Not so much. Let's try, let's see, how's that one look? That one's kind of cool. Do we like this one? We kind of like this? Let me know. Just gonna kind of trail through these and see what we got going on here. Now that, you know, YouTube allows you to add a filter, might as well take advantage of that. Or do we do, it's a little bright. It's a little bright for me. I think we're gonna stick with, this might be good. Let's see, that's red. That's red. Let's go with no filter. How's that? No filter is better than a filter, I think we're thinking. Or, you're gonna go with no filter? We're going with no filter. Okay, no filter. No filter, we're just gonna do it human style. Hey you guys, okay, so I was having a lot of intuitive messages and downloads. I often fast until dinner, and today I actually didn't. I had something around 4 o'clock. I've got a massage therapist, he's coming over. First time I'm having a massage with him. I actually met him at the dog groomer the other day, and he offered free services. Can't beat it, right? Yeah, so gonna check him out. And I really took, you know, the time today to really treat myself. I woke up very slowly. I messaged my clients that I am taking care of right now in my health business. Those of you who don't know, I have a health business and I detox people for a living. I have a second YouTube channel, and here on YouTube, and it's called Andrea Cox TV. And so I messaged those clients and I said, hey, you know what? I'm taking the day to kind of go within. I went to the gym. I hit hot yoga, obviously. I'm a little shiny right now. And I cared for myself. I called my friend Dave. He gave me a chiropractic adjustment, and it was desperately needed. My neck was out during that wonderful reading I gave yesterday. My neck was actually completely out. So this has been really a day of me kind of just caring for myself. So you guys, I keep trying to get the right angle here because it sucks. And I'm really glad I did. So, hi there. So I wanted to kind of tap in, tune in with all of you and just say, you know, thank you for subscribing to the channel. And I wanted to share with you guys some of the intuitive messages that were coming to me. A lot of stuff about Germany. Something about like German code. A lot of German code stuff. I don't know what a German code would mean. Also, a name of a business having to do with something that has to do with the Irish lineage, that came to me. Also, someone not listening to, I guess, someone not listening to a hairdresser, like someone's hairdresser telling them directly not to do something and them going and doing it anyway, something about that. Also, some of you are moving, you'll be relocating. You have outgrown the space that you are in. It might be a beautiful space. People may be envious of the space. The space may be great, but I feel that you're too tapped in, turned on, and tuned in to where you're at. I feel that you have a period of growth that needs to ensue, involves the evolved. And I feel that where you are currently at, it's surrounded by a lot of, and I know you guys are probably like, okay, Andrea, with your boobs, you're gonna, but I'm gonna say it, you know, a lot of plastic people. Now, plastic people doesn't necessarily mean plastic boobs. I made the mistake of doing this 16 years ago when I had a very low self-esteem. And the only reason I've not gotten them removed is it's actually kind of a monetary issue. It's actually quite expensive to get them removed and get the skin and all that stuff. It's like 20 grand to do the way that I had them in, which is through my navel. There's no scar. So just to put that in layman's terms, TMI. But I feel like a lot of you are around a lot of plastic individuals, meaning people who are not living their truth, people who are not walking their truth, people who are stuffing down their truth with food, people who are stuffing down their truth with aspirin and painkillers and Cheetos and bullshit. And you are being led and called. I actually feel like some of you, what is coming to me is rejection is God's protection. You are being led or called to a higher place of truth. So what do I mean by a higher place of truth? I mean, you are being led and called to a place where your soul family is going to be surrounding you. Now, anyone you have been intimate with in this lifetime, if you're conscious, is connected to you in a past life. Now I'm going to say that again. Anyone you've been intimate with in this life, if you are conscious, is a past life connection. And what does that mean? We come into this life with past karma. We choose our parents for a reason. They are here to give us our lessons, right? If you have a parent that like really doesn't pay much attention to you, you are going to choose partners that really aren't that into you, don't pay attention to you, abandon you, etc. Right? Probably have a huge gaping hole of a big abandonment issue that needs filled. At some time along that journey, right, you are going to meet someone who will abandon you and you will not want to chase after that person. That is when you know you've healed that issue. So I'm going to say that again. Coming from a person who had a huge issue with abandonment, right? My dad was killed in a car accident when I was like 9 years old. He was 35. And my grandma, who I love dearly, who was probably the person I have felt closest to in my life, my grandma Lagolda, I lost her when I was in my 20s. I left an 11-year relationship with a beautiful Leo man. Pisces and Leo do very well together. Committed relationships. I left him abruptly when my Saturn return came. He was like my teacher, right? A lot of lessons there. And throughout my life, my lessons came from choosing people that I either, you ready for this? Big moment here. That I either was able to, just do nothing, give nothing of myself, not even intimacy, not even sex, and have cars, houses, whatever thrown my way. Or I would choose people who had an adjacent wound to mine, right? An abandonment issue. So they were fearful of being abandoned. Therefore, they would start to show signs of abandoning me because they thought I was too good for them or vice versa. So a big clue to someone feeling that you are too good for them is when they start to abandon you, right? Really prematurely, like everything's going great, but they start issues to kind of disrupt that flow, right? because they have a core wound inside of them, something in their childhood, something with their parents. If it's a man, it could be with his mother or grandmother. If it's a woman, it could be with her father or stepfather or something, where they felt abandoned at a very young age. Therefore, they will try to abandon people before that person can abandon them, right? Now, me having that mirroring wound to someone, I'll sense them starting to pull away and get needy. Past tense. I just realized that I've healed that wound. I just realized that I have finally healed that wound. It took a couple decades. But I had a situation that was mirroring a very similar past situation. I'll get off of me, but I want to share this with you. I was diagnosed, 333 is important right now to many of you. Also 444. I was diagnosed with PTSD about 2 years ago after a relationship ended where there was a lot of shouting. And what had happened was I was my Piscean, docile, really shy, like innocent, loving self until I had had so much put on me verbally, and often being talked over, mansplained, or shouted over. And, you know, we all have stuff we work through. I'm sure this person has healed that part of himself as well. But I had been shouted over so much that when it would happen, I would either shut down and cry and go into a hermit mode, sometimes for months, or I would fight back. I began fighting back. And so recently, when a similar situation occurred, I actually really fought back. I snapped back immediately. It was something that triggered something in me that was a core wound that I felt my only defense was to, you know, holler out a fuck you, you know? Who do you think you are? Fuck you. Like yelling over me. And when I brought this to this person's attention, he didn't even realize he was yelling. And so for me, I have to look at this, right, from an above perspective and think, okay, so we're mirroring each other. Being a Pisces with a Scorpio moon and Scorpio rising, we want to fix, repair, talk, communicate in a calm, loving way to fix problems. But I don't want to do that. I don't want to be the fixer of a problem that if it is really taken apart, that I will completely own my part in, but not take full responsibility for, because two people need to own their part. So if I now enter a relationship, I'm sorry that happened to you last week, and it's very destructive. I am not a person that goes to therapy, but I did book an appointment with my spiritual therapist because knowing I have PTSD from being yelled at for 5 years, it rocks me. It takes away my creativity. It takes away my ability to write. It takes away my ability to work with my clients. It steals from my health, from my sleep, from my livelihood. And all of this started because I really don't want to share my personal relationships on social media anymore. I want to do it in a very intricate, selective way. I do. I have a huge following on like Facebook and 2 YouTube channels. When you share your love life on social media, it is infiltrated by others. I don't care what anyone else says. So I'm going to get to the reading. Let me grab some water, you guys. Let me grab some water. I've been wearing these yoga pants for like 2 weeks. I just ordered them in other colors. didn't want that type of infiltration. So things weren't really talked about prior, and that ended up really, a molehill ended up into a big, nightmare. So what I had to ask myself was, okay, why is something so small turning into this huge catastrophe? Well, there's not proper communication. There's not two people sitting across from each other having a quiet conversation and loving one another through their feelings. There's one person raising their voice over another. And if I'm dealing with someone that doesn't even recognize that they're raising their voice, and then I'm being led to raise my voice and react at that, there's no, break down that wall, And so it's painful, it's hurtful, but the way I knew I was healed was because I have zero desire to chase after anyone who cannot communicate in a loving way. And I have to admit, I did not communicate in a loving way. I think it was like 2 days ago. I didn't. So the whole thing started because someone shared some photos and they weren't to my liking. I said, please don't tag me in this. Let's do this a different way. Please, can we, and it wasn't spoken about first, I'm very good at asking people first, is this okay if I do this? And when I ask about something like that, and it's, so many people, 25,000 is a lot to me, are seeing it, it's like, oh, and it causes my, oh, and it sucks that social media has that type of power. But it doesn't have that type of power if you are wise and selective about what you share, which I have learned to be. I've shared one person on my social media in the past 10 years, one, and we were in a long relationship. And so by doing so recently, I really took a big risk. Not only was I shutting out the last cycle of my life, but I was also taking a big risk with this new person by saying, you know what, you are important enough for me to do this. But in turn, not being heard about what I had said about how I want to be very selective and careful, and I want things to be solid where we actually share who the other one is by tagging and things like that. That kind of made me feel unheard. So that kind of started the ball. And then it went into the way the communication, it was almost like communicating with someone that it was hard. It was like everything turned into a combat instead of a conversation. And so early on in the connection, it got me shutting down. I took 5 days away very early on, like 2 months ago, I wanted to pull away because I could tell that conversation and communication was very triggering for this person. And when you are working with so many clients that have so many issues, you do not want to have to come home and deal with anything like that. You just want to be loved and held and have space held for you. And so this has been very difficult for me to face. But what was very healing for me, and it came over me today, is the fact that I was seeing a pattern in past relationships and it turned me off. And here's the pattern. I used to be in a relationship with someone that would cut me off and disappear for like a week if I said something they didn't like. And this actually happened last weekend when I had to work and I ended up not getting anything done. I had spent some time with the person, and then he said, let's, I'll bring my computer and let's work together at a place. And I said, I have to handle something. I have to shoot video. I ended up not getting anything done that weekend because I said that, I was like ghosted the whole weekend because I couldn't spend time with this person. And so that had me up all night. It had me stressed. It had me feeling sad. And that whole weekend, and he reached out on Monday, the whole weekend, I was thinking to myself, why am I about to repeat a pattern here? Why am I about to repeat a pattern that's going to have me looking like shit, losing sleep, crying? Why am I going to repeat a pattern with someone who doesn't care enough about my feelings to check in and say, hey, it kind of upset me that you said we couldn't see each other last weekend. Can we talk about this when we see each other again? That's clear communication. And so for me, by the time he reached out on Monday, I was kind of in defensive mode, you know? I needed held and nurtured and told, you know, it's going to be okay. I'm sorry I did that. And he gave me that, but my walls needed to be broken down. So this is what I want to say to all of you, especially men, and some of you women too. If you have a core wounding of abandonment, you might be like ghosting people, thinking that is a direct sign then when you reach out and everything to that person that they are not important enough for you to say, you know what, you matter to me, I need some time. Or you matter to me, but X, Y, and Z upset me, so I'm going to take some, you know what I mean? So for me, it's all about, yes, passion is important. Yes, being attracted to someone is important. Yes, having great sex is important. Yes, having healthy boundaries is important. Yes, having someone that's on the same wavelength is important. But man, if someone cannot communicate clearly, calmly, and effectively, so much so that you are so even keeled and you're triggered to go off, it's not the road. That's my opinion. I don't think relationships should be easy. Actually, first few months should actually be the most difficult because you're working through those little inner nuances, the other. But it's a two-way street, right? Someone's got to actually want to work through those things. They've got to actually want to do the work. It can't be just one person trying to fix everything, or one person ghosting and then coming back and apologizing, and you've built walls taller than China because you're so offended. So, and also being very intuitive, getting intuitive hits like, is he really done with his past? Is he really, and not being able to ask questions. I want to make a very valid statement to all of you, women and men. Stop trying to, how should I say this? Stop trying to make excuses for having valid questions or wanting to communicate clearly and effectively. Your worries and your concerns, especially in the beginning of a relationship while you're getting to know someone, are valid. Your feelings are valid. You are allowed to ask questions. You are allowed to say, you know what, I'm just curious about this. Can you explain to me why why there's pictures of you in a hotel room with 5 women? Can you, at a before party, can you just kind of let me? You're allowed. And if someone is like telling you that you're not allowed, let them go. Because the way to effective, calm, happy relationships with great sex, no bitterness, 2 people being relaxed so they can create their dreams, is healthy communication. And if someone is ghosting you because you had to work one weekend instead of, or you had a new client you had to have a phone call with. I mean, bottom line, last weekend I had a new client that is very well off, and I wanted to take a lot of space and get a great night's sleep before I had my first call with him. And I also had a video shoot I was scheduled. I ended up kind of failing at both of those because I got no sleep. Why? Because I wasn't interacting with someone who was adult enough to be like, that's cool, I understand, I'll check in with you tomorrow, it's no big deal. Instead, I was interacting with someone who chose to like, I'm just gonna bow out and not, not reach out to you, even though we had an awesome weekend and you did this for me and I did this for you. That's not clear. So you'll know you've healed a wound when that type of behavior is like a turnoff instead of you feeling a pull to communicate, right? You'll more or less feel a pull to be like, you know what, hey, let's just be friends who don't talk. I have to keep it 100 here because as an adult woman and as a woman who works with people on a daily basis who have been married 17, 18, 20 years, I know what works and I know what doesn't work. And as a person, and I don't want this to come off boastful, it probably is, I'm sorry, but as a person who attracts the type of clientele I have, so I've been very vocal about my celebrity clientele in the health industry, Chris Knight, John Sally, Steven Sater, Tony Award-winning playwright. If you guys knew the people that I service in my intuitive business, people who write music for Usher, you know who you are. People who invent things and are famous for it. People who are actors and actresses, and I'm not putting that out anywhere. Those are the types of people who are asking me to help them in their relationship. And so if I am with someone who is choosing a childlike behavior, like, ghosting or something over clear communication, no, it's not going to work. Come on. Really? So I had to question myself the other day. Okay, you have not raised your voice in 2 years. I actually have on the phone with PayPal a few times I've raised my voice, but in no other way have I raised my voice at all. I think once to a nurse at a hospital when my mom got put in the hospital, and once to a woman at PayPal because I couldn't transfer money from PayPal to Wells Fargo and she was acting like she, but other than that, not at all. So I had to really go within and say, okay, what is this a pattern of? What is it mimicking? Okay, it's mimicking something where this happened once before. So this is a karmic lesson and I need to learn it. And if someone doesn't feel I am good enough to show up in a way that values clear communication, I'm not gonna run after that at all. That was when I knew I was healed. Because I'll tell you what, 2 years ago, I ran after that type of behavior. And I will not run off it. No way will I be triggered to be like, oh, please love me and yell over me. It's not gonna work. So that's where I'm at. Let's get into these messages. So let me take a quick swig of water. And I've got a massage therapist coming at 6:30, so this is gonna be really easy. 2020 is all about getting myself back into my perfect body, perfect health. I'm a little bit scrawny right now with a major neck issue, but to help me out today. So a lot of masculine are trying to stay rooted and grounded in a situation. There's a shock of the new. A lot of them are settling for someone that they felt they would never end up settling for because the person they wanted, I think certain things, like what I just explained to you. Thank you for hitting the like button, by the way, and for subscribing to the channel. Are the person they really wanted to be with, they didn't have the skill set yet to have that clear communication, to have that mindset of stepping up, to have that loving themselves enough to know they deserve love from the person they were passionate about, what have you. So a lot of them are trying to stay rooted and grounded even though they're in the shock of the new. There was something about helium, like a helium balloon, like someone trying to contact their ex or something, but they were inhaling helium to do like a fake voice. They could have been patronizing their business. That came through very strongly. I feel like whoever that message is for, the person knows, so that probably needs to stop. And then there was something about German code coming through very strongly. Also Virginia. I don't know if it's the state of Virginia or a female named Virginia, or that was coming through very strongly. Something about needing an inhaler. Someone like passing out at work or something, they need an inhaler, they need oxygen or something. It's going to take some time for something to get in. There was a lot of health stuff coming up. There was also, and this sounds horrible, but there was also a message about someone who was ill and they could have been married, or someone was waiting for someone, you know, they were waiting to collect money or something off of someone. It was very sad. Messages coming in. Just pull a card on that. Yeah, very sad, brokenhearted. There was also a lot of spying going on and a lot of illegal activity. There was also a situation where someone had been stalked like 2 to 10 years, and the person who was doing the stalking had like a very high profile job that they could lose if this stalking was exposed. So I feel like that person, whoever was doing the stalking, 9 of Pentacles, could have been stalking a Pisces. We have the Moon card here, or vice versa. That person is going to step forward, because I feel like someone got into contact with someone else, and I feel like someone has just found out, like I feel like they found out like today who was really behind this. I feel like someone sent an email or something from a false email account, and maybe that was like exposed or something like that. Also, I feel like someone has a ghostwriter, or someone is writing something or something, but the work is from someone else. They have collected and downloaded stuff from someone else's writings for years. Very strong Virgo energy. Could be a Virgo being stolen from, or a Virgo doing this. Could be a Virgo sun, moon, or rising. A lot of Gemini energy, Aquarius energy in that. I feel like, you're welcome. I feel like whatever piece gets put into play, also Cancerian energy on that. It could be a book of something. Could even be a book of recipes or something. I feel like that is going to be taken to court on some level. Like that's gonna, like someone is waiting for that. Someone's waiting for that. I also feel like someone has work protected legally, and it's like totally on the radar. Someone had someone step in at some time to protect like all their work, like everything. But I feel like someone is savvy enough. Also, I'm getting a label reader. Whoever this label reader reads labels, reads the back of boxes, whatever, has a fascination with reading labels. You shouldn't be reading labels because you shouldn't be eating shit food with labels. But I also feel like whoever this is like they'll change like a few words, like they'll look for comparable words. Oh, my friend Dave just texted me and asked how my neck is doing. That's a good guy. That's a great guy right there. 444 coming through. I also feel like something with castor oil, camphor, castor oil, wormwood. Someone could be doing a parasite cleanse, magnesium. God, someone's so needy. I get this little, someone's mixing something on a counter. They're such like a needy person. Interesting. Someone's obsessed with someone that I feel like thinks they're an asshole, but they're with someone else. Someone's in a relationship with someone else. Someone likes to cook a lot or mix things or something, but the person they're cooking for, mixing things for, is obsessed with someone else or something like that, and that person thinks they're an asshole. Take it as you will. Wow, right? Donations are available. Super Chats is on, ladies and gentlemen. If any of this hits home, let me know. I feel like someone found out that their child, if the doorbell rings, it's my massage therapist and I gotta go. It's gonna be an hour of luxury for me. I feel like someone is definitely moving. I feel like you could have made the choice over this weekend. You could have gotten rid of a place, lost a place came out from under you, you're gonna find a new place. It's coming to you. Someone is so sick of where they live. Hello. Comment in the comment section if this is, someone has found out their teenage daughter or son is like blogging while driving or doing stupid shit, taking selfies while driving. Literally the keys need taken away. Someone's gonna comment about that. That's gonna hit home with someone. Someone is dealing with both you and your spouse are sick. I also feel like someone is going to a naturopathic doctor that is robbing them. Like someone is being robbed. I feel like this is in Southern California up towards LA, like 2 hours away from where I am. Redondo Beach, or what's it called? Redondo? I don't know. Let me get some water, you guys. Sorry, I like straddle my chair. I'm like, woo. Okay. Some of you are dealing with this situation where you have forgotten how to receive as females. I feel like you were in a codependent relationship and someone was saying you were a taker, you're a taker, you're a taker. And so you actually not only stopped taking anything from anyone else, it's really affected and hindered your business, I feel. But you also, sorry, I want to make sure my thing's turning. I feel like you also somehow stopped receiving, even from people that would try to date you. You stopped being accepting and receiving of gifts and things of that nature. I'm not going to use the cards. Some of you are definitely being stalked by an ex-Scorpio. It would be a Scorpio sun. And I feel like they've reeled you back in. It could be a Sag. Some of you are dealing with either a Sagittarius or a Cancerian female. I feel like you will not be married, but you could be, or they could be married, that is just taking your money. Taking your money, taking your money. I'm feeling like it's plastic surgery related. Like someone is really using and abusing someone for money for plastic surgery. It could be in a husband and wife situation. Some of you are in a long-term marriage. This would be years. You could have grown kids and you feel really insecure about your body and there's no need to. I feel like your brilliance, your smile, your funniness, your everything like makes up for all of that. Some of you need to watch this video from the beginning because the information you are going to get in the beginning of this video is going to help you more than anything. Some of you heal with music, you release with music, and you're sending songs to someone, or someone sending you songs, love songs or poetry or something like that. Someone is an inspiration to you, but they've made you angry, and now you see them as a threat, and they are teaching you the most valuable lesson of your life, and it's something you need to pay attention to. Some of you need to do hot yoga like I did earlier. Some of you need to learn to take care of your own needs. You've been in codependent relationships. Others of you, like myself, have healed yourself of that dynamic and you are looking for someone to co-partner with. You could have also recently had a change of heart about children. Maybe you didn't want children, now you do. Some of you actually are going to find out you're pregnant and you're not going to tell the person. And I don't think it's someone you've been in a relationship with, so I don't find that's a problem. I think you're going to find out in 2 to 3 weeks. Definitely a twin flame situation. Some of you have the wrong idea of the twin flame thing. You think there needs to be this huge age gap, there needs to be blah, blah, blah. You need to... Most twins, you either meet when you're very young, like early 20s, or when you're in like your early 40s. That's a fact. Usually, I hear a lot of people say, oh, there's like a 7 to 10 year age gap at least, or like a 15-year age gap. No, usually there's, there can be like a 1-year age gap, a 2-year age gap. Some of you know someone's your twin flame because of your chart placements. It's crazy sick. In Vedic and Western, and you know who you are, and they know that about you too. And they do love you, but they think you're a stalker. I have to take it out of my check because I'm gonna get a massage. Sorry. Some of you are coming to life. You're starting to date after not dating for many years. It's going to be fine. Some of you are going to write a book. The word wants to be written. But make sure you're not stealing the work from someone. Some of you are. You're copying off of someone else's stuff and you know it. And if you don't go to that person and you don't honor that person in that way, this will be a colossal failure. You need to step it up. And you know who you are. You have a big, bold vision. That vision will be a colossal fail. Some of you are buying into like some kind of healing center or something like that. Some of you are starting a healing center. Some of you have built off another person's back. Therefore, I feel like a relationship, I feel like you're a couple. Yeah, this is a person that follows their own rhythm. This is the type of person, it's like 0 fucks given. This person could care less what other people think about them. They're following their north node. So what it means when you follow your north node, south node is old news. Our south node is past life karma, it's past life shit, right? It's been there, done that. Our north node is the direction we are to go. It's the energy of the direction we are to go. So say you have Capricorn South Node, Cancer North Node, because Capricorn and Cancer conjunct. Cancer North Node, you're supposed to get more into the home and the relaxation and not partying as much and being eased into your life, right? If you have a Scorpio, so you could be highly attracted to someone with Cancer in their 4th house. I have Cancer in my 4th house. That's the house of home and hearth. So the 4th house is the house of Cancer. If you have Cancer in the 4th house, Cancer in the house of Cancer, it's a very attractive person. It's also someone who loves to create a beautiful home environment. So just a little word of food for thought there. Also, some of you need to learn your Vedic and Western charts. Some of you are looking, some of you need to watch this video from the very beginning. Some of you are trying to figure out someone's chart and you can't, because this person, it's false information everywhere. This person has their stuff set up like I do. The info, you don't know this person's real birthday even. This person does not give out their personal information. You cannot Google search this. You will find 10 people with the same name that live in the same area. It's like when I go to the bank and I give my name and there's like 7 of us, same thing. You cannot find this person's personal information anywhere. I think some of you are trying to do chart placements on someone, you've got the wrong chart. Some of you, someone is lit, open, third eye open, brilliant, freaking sun goddess, butterflies coming out of their third eye. This person probably hasn't eaten meat in 30 years. The word wants to be written. Either you are supposed to co-create something with this person. This person's coming back to life. They have a very big, bold vision. You see the bee on the third eye? That means this person is destined to be wealthy. They probably have a few trines in their chart. They follow their own rhythm. They could have a few, since it's like third eye driven, water trines. I have 2 water trines in my chart. Water's like emotions. It's like someone who knows how to feel, right? But again, they follow their own beat. No one's going to tell that person what to do. Power of attraction, card number 13. You could have a strong attraction to this person. It's like every time you get sick of this person and you go within and you think they're done, then like you see them again and you're like, what the fuck? Beyond the mind, the heart beats. So you could be having dreams of this person. Softly, softly, tender touch. But they could be harsh with their words at times. It's just to help you grow. You need it. So you could be looking outside of the connection for other conscious connections. Let me explain something to you real quick. Yeah, you're like, you have an inner trust. So, legacy of light. This really wants to be, it's definitely past life stuff. Whenever we interact with someone, sexually, we get their good and their bad karma, okay? When you are constantly living your life, everyone you interact with sexually is from a past life. Now, this does not mean you get drunk, go to the bar, go to a party, pick up someone, sleep with 12 people off of Bumble, you know, have a different partner every few months. That is not living a conscious life. Living a conscious life is not like, well, I'm really attracted to that person, I'm going to interact with them sexually. No, you're getting their bad karma, you're getting their financial karma, you're getting all of that. You're getting, you know, if they're a really creative person, you're getting their creativity, but they're getting a lot of your shit too. You know, it's like taking a big swimming pool and dumping a bunch of shit in it and mixing it up, and then you hope you get the good stuff out of it. So be mindful. Be mindful when you interact with people sexually. You get their good and their bad. I can count on one hand how many people I've been intimate with. Massage therapist, I gotta go. I love you guys. Sorry, this was like school, wasn't it? Okay.